2, 1.
Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday at 7:30, so you know what that means. It's another episode of the football show with no name. So we're short a few tonight, but we got to commission the house and Ian the champ down there at the bottom 17 times. We should definitely add. So I hope everybody's having a good evening. We were talking about what we should lead the show off with tonight before the show, and there's no other way but to lead this off with Jim Harbaugh. Breaking news that was 30 minutes ago. Jim Harbaugh is leaving Michigan and he is going to the Los Angeles Chargers. So he's going from cold and snowy to sunny Southern California. So what do you guys think about this?
As a guy who was born and raised in Ohio, I'd love to see him leaving Michigan. I mean, I think it's really exciting. He's obviously very innovative. Took a bad Niners team and turned them around in the mid 2010s. Has a lot of creative ideas. Has a lot of. He's innovative. The problem that I see with the Chargers is one, they're in salary cap hell. They're $35 million over the cap, roughly, give or take. And Austin Eckler is past his prime.
Keenan Allen's getting there. Mike Williams can't stay on the football field. Quentin Huge is not panned out to be what he was supposed to be.
No, see, the Chargers have the number 5 overall pick, which means if the Cardinals don't take Marvin Harrison,
they're going to.
The Chargers would be dumb to not take the kid out of Washington.
Well, then speaking of creative and turning around franchises, don't think for a second that the Chargers aren't going to try to move up in this draft. Because, they're not needing a quarterback, but to move to number 3 or to number 2 to get Marvin Harrison would be a smart move.
It would be, considering when you're in the salary cap hell that they're in. They just signed Justin Herbert. Keenan Allen is signed for, I think, 1 or 2 more years. He has a pretty significant hit.
Last one of Mike Williams, too.
Mike Williams he's injured a lot, but he's younger. If you have to,
this is his last contract year.
Yeah, maybe you re-sign Mike Williams to a smaller injury-prone contract and hope it pans out. Get that wide receiver. You got to move on from Austin Eckler, probably, unless Harbaugh has some ideas. On the defensive side, Joey Bosa is great. He's got a huge contract as well. It's going to be really interesting. They don't have a GM. Tom Telesco signed with their division rival, the Los Angeles Raiders. So he's bringing all that Chargers knowledge, across the desert. There's going to be a lot of changes there.
Is there any running backs in the draft, either one of you, that would be like
the best running back
taking at number 5 or trading back to replace Eckler?
No,
or do you definitely trade? Do you definitely trade up to get Marvin Harrison?
I think if you can trade up to get Harrison, you do it. If you stay at 5, the kid from Washington, I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry.
Michael Penix.
Oh yeah, he's nice.
No.
The other guy,
the receiver,
the wide receiver,
Rome Anduze, something like that.
Nduze.
He's nice.
Yeah.
If you want to talk running backs, the best running back that's available, I happen to love Ollie Gordon. He's not getting a lot of love, but the best running back in this draft, projected wise, is Blake Corum, is his own running back from Michigan.
Maybe he's a second or third round kind of guy. Maybe. But see, and also maybe Quentin Johnson makes the step up from freshman to sophomore year. It's one of those things that, another podcast put out these stats that say normally if rookie wide receivers don't hit X numbers, then they never hit X numbers, right?
Right.
And so that's kind of what you worry about. However, Quentin Johnson got most of his PT with Easton Stick, right? Not with Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
because Mike Williams is still healthy and Keenan Allen was still playing, and asked Austin Eckler. That's when Austin Eckler was actually pretty good when Huge started getting targets. When he started getting targets, but then he had to finish the year with Easton Stick, and he, to his credit, he was his number 1 target.
Listen, the Chargers are going to look vastly different in 2024.
For sure.
And the defensive side than they did last year.
And they have a new coach and a new offensive coordinator, I'm sure, and a new defensive coordinator.
It's going to be molded in Harbaugh's image. Herbert is certainly no Alex Smith and is certainly no Colin Kaepernick. Herbert is, a top 5, top 6 quarterback in this league when healthy, and he's had the targets, he's had the players around him, but he's never won in the playoffs.
No.
And strikingly, of course, most is that 27-0 lead that they lost to Jaguars last
Oh
year.
my God.
That was embarrassing. That was straight up embarrassing.
That's the stigma that he carries with.
All right, so Merrill, what do you think about this?
I'm just dropping the Pro Football Focus. They have their top 10 of I don't know if I did this right. Oh yeah, I did it right.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Okay. So, they've always said that Drake was going to be a Patriot, which I know that my boy Ryan is going to be very, 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 very happy with that, because he was trying to tank for Drake. Like that's what he was saying for the whole year. But Merrill, what's your take on this Harbaugh situation?
Oh no, it's great. I mean, other than like, good for him, man. Like, get the hell out of the NCAA.
Yeah. Jeez, bro.
They were gonna come after him. He won. He did the job. Got them that championship. He can only come down.
Yep.
Leave while you're hot. Go get this NFL money.
Go get that paycheck. That's right.
Get that paycheck and see, can you play your brother in the Super Bowl one day?
Yeah.
I guess the AFC Championship.
Yeah. Yeah. Go Pats. Yeah. No, I feel you, Brittany. I feel you. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a step up from who the Pats have now. Definitely a step down from what they're used to in the past.
Is she saying that? So she's saying just go Pats in general.
Well, yeah, because she's also a Carolina fan. So getting Drake May going to the Patriots is probably a good thing in her book.
We're gonna spend a lot of time, as we draft. As we do the podcast, during the off season, which maybe every week may not be, still kind of TBD. But once we get into the combine,
after the football draft.
Yeah. Well, no, even before that, once we get into the combine, after the league, you come like late February. That's when these mock drafts start happening. Right now, I mean, just to throw my 2 cents in right now, I do think the Bears take Caleb Williams 1 overall. I also think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake. I do. But with that happening, I would not be surprised if the Bears traded with say the Chargers, for the Chargers to get up to take Marvin Harrison if they want him that badly. Bears fall down to 5. They don't need a quarterback. They have DJ Moore.
Well, okay, so let me ask you a question, because you're saying the Caleb Williams stuff. Like, so are they trading Justin Fields because he still has a year left on his contract, right? So they'd have to trade him.
Or
2 years on his left on his rookie.
So they would keep him. So they would just keep him and let him let Caleb sit and learn, and then
I don't think so. Like, that's not the way that the pundits are talking. Right.
No, I don't think Caleb's it.
I don't think so either.
I think
Caleb can be the same quarterback. He can be the same quarterback as Justin Fields. He's just bigger.
You can't
with
run
less
like
experience. You're starting all over again.
I like Justin Fields, man. Like, if
I like Justin Fields too.
So that speed is like, you can't teach that.
The Falcons haven't hired a coach yet, right? So
they're talking to Belichick and Ben Johnson.
They're talking
let me ask you a question.
Like
if
Dak
Belichick goes
to Atlanta.
If Belichick goes to Atlanta, I've heard a lot of things saying Justin Fields goes to Atlanta.
In a trade?
I've heard a lot of things Dak going to Atlanta. I personally feel that's not bad. I would love to see the Bears.
Is Dak in his last year of his contract?
No, Dak's going to want to get traded. He can't handle the pressure of Dallas.
Nobody can.
If Dak goes to Atlanta, I am jumping on the Falcons bandwagon right away. Like,
did you see that stat? Do you see that stat the other day? I forgot who put it out. It had the Lions and the Cowboys. It said Cowboys wins in the past whatever, and Lions playoff wins in the past whatever, and the Lions had more playoff wins than the Cowboys.
Dallas
makes me laugh.
Since '96, the Cowboys have won playoff win. It's
unbelievable.
It's embarrassing.
It really is kind of unbelievable. As much shit as Jerry Jones talks, and the much shit as their fan base
almost
talks.
30 years of just futility, man. I mean,
unbelievable.
I just feel
they're the state of the NFL, Merrill.
I feel like Caleb Williams is a talented quarterback. He's being hyped to be that generational talent. I don't see it. So I'm really kind of hoping that the Bears pass on him so that he spends the next 5 years languishing either in DC or in New England.
If he goes
'Cause
to
Hey,
DC, he's going to play immediately, and he'll be
he's going to
better
play either
than.
where.
I
Wherever
just-
he goes, he's playing immediately.
I think he's better than Sam Howell, so I think that it
yeah.
would be an upgrade for Washington. But I mean,
But
the
if
Bears are
Washington-
definitely going to take him unless
I don't
something
think the Bears.
changes.
I just it just seems silly.
Bears-
It's- I
Because
don't
they
know.
could trade, they could
Fields.
trade up. Like, can you imagine a
Trade
world?
down.
Can you imagine where they swap places with the Chargers
hmm
and get Austin Eckler or something like that, and then the Bears get who was their quarterback? I mean, who was their running back this year? Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert, right?
Herbert.
No, but let's say
Foreman.
they trade the 5th overall pick, Khalil Herbert, and future number 1 for the
Khalil's
number 1
not
pick
going back to
overall.
the Bears.
And then, and no, not back to the Bears. He'd go to the Chargers.
Who am I thinking of?
Oh,
I'm thinking
sorry.
of the
The
linebacker.
Chargers
Oh, they don't want him.
trade Austin
Chargers don't
Eckler.
want him. He's not that good.
Nobody
But-
wants Austin Eckler anymore.
But would they trade up that far to get Marvin Harrison?
Who has the
And they kept
second
the number
pick?
1 pick.
the Commanders.
The Commanders,
The
and then the
Commanders?
Cardinals. No, and then,
Nope,
then the
yeah,
Pats
New
and the
England.
Cardinals. Yeah.
New England's 3, Cardinals 4, Chargers.
I'm just trying to figure out a way for the Bears to trade down
No,
and get.
no, the Cardinals are
get-
17.
yeah,
The
I
Cardinals.
don't remember
have
who's
Houston-
number 4.
I think the Washington team is
Cardinals are
third.
number 4. The Cardinals 17 is Houston's pick.
Oh, okay.
get,
So they have
get
2 of them.
Houston's pick
Got you.
they get- for the damn. What's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
linebacker's name?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because man, it's just really interesting. And here they have like what's the dude from LSU? Neighbors is number 4.
Jalen
Mm.
Daniels.
No,
the
Neighbors is
quarterback?
wide receiver.
Oh, the wide receiver.
They have it as number 4, and they have Jalen Daniels as number 11.
You know who I
They
love?
have so
as-
the
I
like him,
latest
though.
mock draft. The latest mock draft had Jalen going 2.
Jalen
Mel
Daniels.
Kiper has him going. So Mel
Yeah.
Kiper has
Too high.
1 Caleb Williams, 2 Jalen Daniels, 3 Drake May.
More. Merrill, I'll tell you which wide receiver I love is kind of an under the radar guy. He didn't have a great season. He had a great year last year, so he's kind of under the radar right now. Florida State, Keon Coleman. I love
Coleman.
this kid. I love this kid. He's under the radar. I'm drafting at the end of a lot of drafts in the first round this year.
Are you
I'm
already doing fantasy drafts, Ian?
I am not doing fantasy drafts yet. I am not, but I am
Should be
looking
soon,
at the
right?
prospect. Very
I
soon,
mean, after the
probably.
draft, right? Which
After
is
the
April,
combine, yeah.
the last week of April, right? I mean, that's the draft. Like, you can actually probably start doing drafts then. Like, you and Jeff are going to be on Underdog.
There
do a
are
damn
people. Yeah, there are people in Sleeper that are posting new leagues draft now, and I'm
Holy
like,
crap, dude!
and I write I write them like, why?
Why?
The league starts in 8 months. You're going to have to fill 12 new orphans.
That's
It's
Yeah.
the same as people on the social saying, okay, I'm in this league and I get to keep 3 keepers. Here's my options. What do you think? I write back. I said, bruh, you could literally get a girl pregnant today and not have to worry about it until after the baby is born. Why are you worrying about this now?
Right.
It's January. Stop.
That's too funny.
Dude, the fantasy football is great. We all love it. It sucks and it's amazing. But we will worry about that post combine. We will start talking about fantasy
Absolutely,
football
yeah.
post combine.
We got
Like
coaches
we
in
should.
playoffs now.
We'll have a coaches show. We'll have a coaches and rookie show maybe, and talk about some things. All right.
Yeah.
So now let's move past the coaching stuff because the coaching carousel is going to continue rotating
It is.
for a
Almost.
few weeks now.
Yep.
And so it'll be done by mid-February or so. So folks, don't worry, we'll talk about that. So let's talk about the playoff games.
Mhm.
We're gonna finish with the KC Buffalo game. Okay.
All right.
So the first game we got Bucks and Lions. The Fighting Baker Mayfields, right? So like him and Mike Evans and Rashad White willed this team to scoring points all season because Godwin wasn't very good. They didn't have a tight end to speak of. I mean, Kate Otten came along, at some point, but their running game was great. Baker was really, really good, and Mike Evans was unbelievable. Right,
Yeah.
so he's the number 5 wide receiver on the year, and dude's unbelievable. Right.
He'll get
He
his
is a
contract here.
spectacular wide
Oh
receiver.
yeah, for sure. And then you have Jared Goff and the Dan Campbells,
Fighting
and
Dan Campbell's.
they just they just played so well, man. I mean, having the home field is great. They're not going to have it this weekend, and we'll talk about that. But Jared Goff at home, he's really good, y'all.
He's good at home.
Like, he is really, really good.
Good at home.
Amon-Ra St. Brown is sneakily the best receiver in the NFL.
He's a beast.
Like,
but not a Pro
I
Bowler.
loved it. I don't understand it.
But he made all pro.
He did make all pro.
But not a Pro
Pro.
Bowler,
Not a Pro Bowler.
right? But
It's
doesn't
crazy.
fan
It
vote
had
have a lot to
flags.
deal with it? And nobody cares about the Lions, right? So,
Right.
but Jahmyr Gibbs,
Mhm.
Stud.
I think solidified the fact that
Stud.
they'll probably trade David Montgomery because they don't need him
No,
anymore.
no,
How-
keep it like it
No,
is.
you think
No.
so?
Both of them.
Keep it
Because
like it's going.
this year,
Keep it
I would bet David Montgomery got more carries.
I'm going
He
to tell
did.
you right
I don't
now.
think it'll happen next year. If
I
he
think it'll
did-
be 60-40 next year, but I think that's great because
Towards
Gibbs is a
Jimmy, you
little dude.
keep them both
keep him
fresh.
healthy.
Keep them both
because
fresh.
that
He's
run,
100%.
that rushing touchdown he had, like where that dude was coming at him from that angle, and he was just able to outrun him.
Outrun.
That was
He's a
something
stud.
impressive. And I looked
He's
at
a stud.
Mitch. I was watching the game with my boy Mitch. I looked at Mitch and I was like, he just won his spot next year with that run right there. Just
Oh,
totally
he's a
outrun.
starter. He's a starter,
He's
but
the
Montgomery's going to
starter.
come in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
from a fantasy football perspective, yeah, you want Monty gone, but
Yeah.
Dan Campbell doesn't live in the fantasy football world. I'm going to tell you
He
right
does-
now, it is probably likely, in my opinion, that the Lions are going to regress somewhat next year. And it's not because of their players, it's because their offensive coordinator is a guy named Ben Johnson. And he's interviewing, he is going to be
He's
hired as a head
Yeah.
coach
Yeah.
somewhere within the next 3 weeks. I'm surprised he's not. The only reason why he's not already is because the Lions are still playing. If they're eliminated this Sunday, he's coaching somewhere else on Tuesday.
Absolutely.
And we have seen over and over and over again with really good teams, they lose their offensive coordinators, they lose their defensive coordinators. They still have the same players. Listen, I'll talk about the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs this year. You
We'll
lost.
get to the Eagles.
Yeah, you lost Shane Steichen, you lost Eric Bieniemy, and like it or not, the same players are there, but the offensive identity changes when
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
offensive coordinator goes.
For sure it does, of course.
So that's why I still think the Lions will be great. I still think they'll win the NFC North. Excuse me. I believe that, but I do think that there will be some regression because you don't have that change at the top.
No,
and there
and
isn't some change.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't necessarily agree either because Jameson Williams is going to be way better than he was this year, and he's also going to have a full season to play as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, I mean,
And
the
that
same
gives
thing-
him legitimate number 2 receiver without having to deal with Craig Reynolds, who, by the way, is serviceable. He's great,
He's
but
a third
but-
back.
right. And then you have
Mhm.
and then you have the other number 8,
You have Josh Reynolds. You
Jo-
have-
Josh Reynolds. The other he's good, but I don't think he's going to be as good as Jameson Williams. And so Jameson Williams will be that number 2 guy. And then we would be remiss if we talked about the Lions without talking about Sam Laporta and how good he is and how good he was
he's tight end
on
one.
Sunday.
No, he's
On how
tight
good
end
he
one.
was on Sunday. Like
Yeah.
he was really, really good on Sunday. He got a lot of first downs when they needed. He came with some big catches. And the Lions just were better. They were just a better
The
football
Lions
team
are a better
on
team.
that day. Right.
The Lions
They were just a
are
better
a better
football
football
team.
team. Absolutely. I think Tampa Bay was only in the playoffs because somebody from that division had to win
Right.
the NFC South. I mean,
Right.
that-
Yes.
But here's a really good transition here for you, Clint. Is that here's another team that's I think a lot of the same things that are going to happen to
Yeah.
the Lions. I think are also going to happen to the Texans.
Yeah. No, and I
There
understand that.
There's an abundance of
Yeah.
talent there. There's so much talent. Bobby Slowick is going somewhere. He is going to be a head coach. If not, I can't imagine not this year. I can't imagine he's not hired now. But
So
if not
the
this year,
reason-
then next year. So that's a
Well,
transition.
the reason
to
I'm
another-
okay with that is because D'Amico is so good, dude, and I
D'Amico's
think it's
defensive,
his.
though.
I think it's his team, right?
It is
So
his team, but a defense.
that's different than a lot of head coaches, man.
Yeah. So
this is what I'm saying. I like D'Amico because he's got control over his team, and everybody knows it's his.
Sure. I mean,
Who's
he
the offensive
knows it's his
coordinator?
team. His offensive coordinator is Bobby Slowick, and
Yeah.
traditionally,
He'll go
Oh,
somewhere.
okay. That guy. you
He'll
said
go
is right.
somewhere, but
So
then
traditionally, when there is an offensive-minded head coach, he takes over the offense and is middling. He interferes in the defenses because he thinks he's
Right.
got control over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ergo, traditionally, not always, but traditionally, a defensive-minded head coach, like Buddy Ryan was, he focused on defense and said, offense, just do whatever, just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
It's the same way. So DeMeco, I love him. He is a phenomenal coach. He is an amazing leader of men. He has that team.
Yeah, for sure.
They've got his script, no doubt.
Yep.
But make no mistake, Bobby Slowick runs that offense. That is
I
his
understand.
offense.
Yeah, no, I understand that. And it could be, I don't know who they're looking at for offensive coordinator if Slowick doesn't get a job, but maybe because of the relationships that seem to be in that organization at this moment, maybe he won't. Right? Maybe he'll think, hey, maybe I need to marinate like Jordan Love, which we'll get to in a second. Let you marinate like Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers and learn, how to be a head coach. Because DeMeco was a coordinator he was the coordinator for the Niners, right?
For 1 year.
Right.
Yeah, for a year or two. It wasn't long. It wasn't like he had to wait.
He took over when Saleh left.
He didn't have to wait.
When Robert Saleh
but
left.
DeMeco also had the respect of the organization from when he played there, right?
Yes.
So it's a lot different than Slowick, maybe, right? So let's see what happens. Let's see how it unfolds.
There's something about the Dan Campbell model that has taken off. So people are like, I want to do this Dan Campbell model, see if it happens. So you had him, you've had DeMeco, and then you've had Antonio Pierce.
Antonio Pierce. You know what? Let's talk about that real quick. He deserved that job. We should have talked about that before we moved on because he deserved that job. And I talked to JC about this for so many hours. Like because JC's a closet Raiders fan when he's a diehard Niners fan, but he's a closet Raiders fan because of Jerry Rice and he just followed him everywhere. But it's like he had that team playing so much better than Josh McDaniels ever could.
McDaniels is a clown.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. But it was a great hire. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about this Texans Ravens game. Since you segued into that, they held CJ Stroud, who is the leading passer by yardage in the NFL this year, to 19 for 33 for $175. Now, also, you can't run the ball on Baltimore. So therein presents a problem when your number one running back is Devin Singletary, and bless his heart, he's been great. He's been great against other competition, right?
The Jaguars.
But he's not Christian McCaffrey, right? He's not even Derrick Henry, right? He's not any of those guys that can make any headway. And what's his nuts? Damian Pierce got no run, and when he did, he was stopped at the line of scrimmage anyway. So, but the only rushing yards that were any prominence in that game where you had one run by Devin Singletary and a couple by CJ Stroud. And I think that his 170 yards rushing this year, by the way, will get exponentially more. I think he triples that next year. But like once they learn how to use him, but this kid knows how to throw the ball. Outside the pocket, inside the pocket, he's accurate, and Baltimore's defense is just Baltimore's defense. It's your daddy's Baltimore defense, right? As they say, right?
I'm impressed. I mean, that was the first time that I've watched them, and I was really impressed.
McQueen is good, bro.
Yeah,
McQueen is very.
It's not Queen.
Bro.
Roquan Smith. Ray Lewis Jr. Like
stop. Nobody's Ray Lewis.
This dude,
you can tell. You can say he's Terrell Suggs.
He covers some ground, man.
I'll call him whatever I want.
Dude, Ray Lewis was a different dude.
CJ Stroud had a rookie season of all time. I'm dying to know who wins the offensive rookie of the year.
Oh, it's gonna be CJ
easy or Puka. I mean, it's one of them.
Yeah.
It's gonna be CJ easy, bro. He led the NFL in passing games. He'll be easy.
He's a quarterback. I think this quarterback
Puka set records. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Puka set records, but CJ led the league.
I'm saying 2 years ago, Cooper Kupp set records, and he won Offensive Player of the Year. Now this is it's not that far. It's one of those.
I get it. I get it. No, it is one of those two.
I sometimes wonder about if Puka is really good. I mean, I know he's good. Is it he's good really or he just gets a lot of volume?
So I got an interesting question since we're talking about this game for you guys. Let's fantasy real quick.
Okay.
Who are you picking first if both are on the board and you need a wide receiver, one or maybe two? Are you picking Puka or Nico Collins?
Puka.
Nico.
I got see because I feel like Cooper Kupp's just going to be nicked up.
Like, I know, I understand that.
I think he's going to be nicked up Cooper Kupp. That's going to be his new name. And then
nicked up Cooper Kupp.
Nicked up Cooper Kupp. That's what I think. I just think Puka.
Yeah. I like Nico. Yeah,
I get both.
You can't go wrong.
But I think they're on the same. They're in the same tier.
Yeah,
right.
I think they're both tier 2. Yeah.
Well, exactly, and that's the crazy thing because the NFL passing leaders' number 1 wide receiver is in a tier 2, where the number 2 for Matthew Stafford is in tier 2.
Yeah, I mean the tier 1 is Chase and JJ and CeeDee Lamb. That's really it. Like that's the upper echelon. Who else are you putting in there? You're not putting AJ Brown in there. AJ Brown is good. He's great. He's not that tier 1. If you have to take a wide receiver with the first overall
he's
pick,
right on the line though. He's right there though.
All right, so a question.
AJ Brown. I think he's
right there.
When I think
he's below those
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
He is below those 3.
Do you take AJ Brown or with Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson?
AJ Brown.
It's close.
Yeah, it's close.
I can't. I'm at 6-1.
Garrett is in that same group. Like Garrett is in that same.
But
group.
Garrett is with Zach Wilson
Garrett,
or at quarterback here. He's lower. For sure.
Garrett is only in that group because if Aaron Rodgers is there, AJ
or
Brown
is quarterback.
AJ Brown is there if Jalen is starting. Even if Mariota.
Okay, so then where would you put Mike Evans? Or
Mike Evans is there with AJ Brown.
Or Keenan Allen, a healthy Keenan Allen with a healthy Justin Herbert. Like,
don't let this contract year fool you. Like Mike Evans good, but
Mike Evans is hold on. So let's say Mike Evans. Mike Evans is really good. He's consistent.
He's also 10 years, 11 years in the league. He's one of those guys. Every once in a while, I latch on to a guy that I know he's going to fall off the cliff one of these years soon. But he's one of those guys that I'm going to hold on. I'm not going to let that guy go a year early. I'm going to hold on to him until he falls off that cliff and suffer for a year because Mike Evans is going to give you 300 fantasy points every single year until he falls off the cliff and gets hurt and gets 75.
Well, see, that's
done.
That's
even
my
if you
dilemma.
get 60% of it in the last game.
I think he's great if Baker stays. Right, and I think Baker's
that's another
great.
conversation to have about Baker because they have to make a decision. Are they going to pay Baker real money?
They need to pay Baker and Mike Evans. So, but they have to pay both of them, right? And he's good. Baker's good, bro.
It's like paying Daniel Jones, man. Like I just
I know, but he's not going to get Daniel Jones money. You know what I mean?
No, he is. He is. He absolutely is.
He will get 4 years, $90 million, easy. But 4 years, $90 million
that's a lot of dough, bro.
That's a discount for a quarterback, though.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
That's $22.5 a year. Now, don't get me wrong. $22.5 million is you can write a lot of grants for $22.5 million. But for a quarterback, when Patrick Mahomes is getting 50 and Burrow's getting 50 and Jalen's getting 45, those are the salary cap crunchers. So if you can sign Baker Mayfield even to a 2-year $45 million contract, 2-year $50 million contract, I'm down. Because
so what happens if the Bucks offer him 3 years, $60 million, and Atlanta offers him 3 years, $65 million? Does he go to Atlanta? Or does he stay in? Because Atlanta needs the quarterback, y'all. And the leading vote getter right now, besides Russell Wilson, is Justin Fields, and the other one is the second leading candidate for Las Vegas.
So I think if Baker goes, I think the most likely new city he would go to would be Vegas. I think that just has the most likely. There's a strong running game there. You've got Jacobs and you've got White, who can carry it if Jacobs isn't there. You still have DA. You still have a decent
Zamir was great.
Zamir carried it.
He was great.
He was a league winner.
He didn't get any touchdowns, but he got one, I think. But he had a lot of yards.
Winner. He
had a lot of yards. He did really well for me.
I don't see Baker going to Atlanta.
Me either. He's going to say.
I think Tampa's first. I think Tampa's 50%.
Yeah.
After that 50%, I'm going to say 30% Vegas, and I'm going to say the dark horse is Minnesota, and that's only if Kirk doesn't resign.
Dude, Kirk would be next year. Is that what you're asking? Who's going to win next year? I mean, we can talk about that in a second. I don't think Kirk is going anywhere because he has better. Like Ty Chandler proved himself to be a very serviceable, maybe even good NFL running back. Yeah. Jordan Addison. I mean, we all saw what he did. He's a mini JJ. And then you got JJ on the other side, and then you got TJ Hawkinson. So I don't think that if they pay him, he's not going anywhere, bro. Like I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins would not probably. I read this. He would give the Vikings a team-friendly contract. He would take a team-friendly contract. He said it
for sure.
That he's made more money in his life than he.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he sits and chills with his kid, man, and his wife, bro. He doesn't care.
He doesn't need the money. He wants to win.
He doesn't care about none of that shit.
He'll give the Vikings a team-friendly contract.
And
whereas if
he's like Joe Flacco, he's just happy to be there, bro. He's just like Joe Flacco.
As Lauren would say, he's doing a Tom Brady.
Yeah,
he's giving the team a team-friendly contract. How to plug Lauren there?
And so one more question before we move back to the playoffs. Like, if Baker resigns and Mike Evans is still there, right? Yeah. So, Maryland, Hoofnagel question. Yes, my dilemma is Mike Evans for the 7th or Sam Laporta for my last round pick.
Laporta.
That's
Laporta.
Right. And I know.
Laporta 15th round.
Yeah, at the 15th round, Laporta, right? But Mike Evans at 7, bro?
Not even a question.
Like, if Baker stays?
Laporta is gone in round 2 or 3. Mike Evans
he's definitely
gone in round 6 or 7.
Like, man, like, unpopular opinion, if Trevor Lawrence is healthy going into next year, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is going to be great. I'm not talking about Trevor Lawrence here. I think Evan Ingram has a chance to be tight end 1. And it's as long as he stays healthy too. But Sam Laporta has shown that he can play through injury where Evan Ingram gets hurt all the time. Right.
Yeah. But you said Mike Evans, right? Not Evan Ingram. You said Mike Evans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but he was just talking about Laporta being number 1.
No, Laporta. We were talking about Laporta.
You're saying Ingram is going to be number 1 and not Laporta.
I'm saying he could be.
They'll be up there. There's like 5 really good, 5 or 6 solid tight ends you can take, so you can wait on tight end.
You can definitely wait.
No more it is taking Kelsey in the first round business anymore.
You're going to see some leagues.
Kelsey's not going to do that.
You're going to see some tight end premium leagues where Sam Laporta is taken in the first round.
For sure. I mean, there's a 2 tight end league. I had one of those. Actually, Hoopnagel was that for a year, and then we nixed that shit, right? Yeah, we didn't like that. All right, that was when tight end was less.
It was hard, so you were just like, hey, it was just an easy way to,
to make the scores 85 to 81, right?
That was rough.
All right, so let's get back.
I miss those days of fantasy scores being like 85 to like 81. I miss those days, man.
Yeah, I know, man. But
I hate seeing 186 to 208. I hate it.
Dude, I've had games where Amari Cooper got me 63 by himself.
Dude, yeah.
I'm gonna sit here and tell you. Look, y'all see Kevin Durant's reaction when he heard Joel Embiid got 72.
What y'all lying about?
First,
60-20, yeah.
First, go to your science fair, bro.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your kids' projects or some shit. All right. So let's talk about
Lamar. You gotta go under your
quick.
personal one so we know it's you.
So let's talk about Lamar real quick.
Well, actually, before you do that, I started to say that I was giving props to Houston. That amazing season came out of nowhere. They had the number 2 overall pick. They did things that no wretched team has ever really done before. Home playoff game, won a playoff game. mad props to everything that they did. But let's be realistic. They got hosed.
Yeah.
And they got hosed by a team. After seeing, I'm doing 2 games here at once, so forgive me. After seeing how Green Bay almost beat San Francisco and
should have beat,
right.
and I saw too many people on the socials yelling about rigged and game script, and I hate that shit. I really
I
do.
know.
No,
I'm a conspiracy theorist.
I hate that shit.
I'm not on that.
I know you're a conspiracy theorist. It was dumb.
But listen, I'm not on that train.
The way that Green Bay handled Dallas, and Green Bay really handled San Francisco. Like they figured
making
out
an appearance.
Yeah.
Hey,
what are y'all lying about on here today?
Why are you not at your kid's science fair?
I have left the science fair. I'm sure he probably got an F on his project because, like most children, he got the piece of paper in August, and we just started the science project like 6 o'clock last night.
Sure.
I mean, anything to not fail, but
they usually get the A's, bro.
Just make a volcano, bro.
Hey, he got an older sister. All he can do is pray and hope to the science gods. What are we lying about on here today?
We're talking about the Ravens-Texas playoff matchup.
We're talking about the Ravens-Texas
game.
We're talking about Ravens-Texas, and we're talking about San Fran Green Bay. How Baltimore really hosed Texas, and San Francisco really kind of got handled a little bit by Green Bay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. But we're talking about the 2 best teams. We're talking about San Francisco and Baltimore are really the presumptive best 2 teams. And there is no conversation.
No, I don't think so.
Baltimore is in a league above everybody.
Yeah,
else.
well, that goes back to their
Let me
defense.
ask y'all a question.
Do
y'all want a Baltimore San Fran rematch after the game that we saw before?
Yes.
No, I don't. Yes. No, I want to see the Lions win.
I want to see Lions. I want to go Lions.
I don't want to see the Lions get destroyed. No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
won't be a
not.
Game.
I want to see San Fran, Baltimore
in. I just don't like San Fran.
Phoenix or wherever it is in Las Vegas.
I don't want to see Detroit go to the Super Bowl and get hosed.
No,
I hate San Francisco.
Pass on that. Yeah, no, I'm going to go big pass on seeing Detroit in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a great story. I'm going to pass on it. I will say,
if we think Baltimore's going to whoop ass anyway, might as well not give me a story.
No, nobody said. Look, I think it's a different situation. It's a totally different situation, man. Like, I don't think Baltimore runs San Fran like that. Baltimore's great at home, dude. Just like the Lions are great at home. Great.
Yeah, I think San Francisco will give them a better game when they play them again.
For sure. It won't
even they didn't in San Francisco a month ago.
Yeah, it just was some weird stuff happened. There's some weird stuff happened in the game.
Played. I may as well just live with the Lions getting their ass whooped. Then see San Fran get dog.
No, dude, it's gonna be San Fran, Baltimore. Let's just all be realistic.
It's going to be San Fran, Baltimore, but nobody wants it.
Well, so I want to say this about.
I think that they're just going to beat Kansas City. You just think they're just.
I say, what happened to Kansas City? Like we just said, fuck Kansas City. Huh?
No, I don't think they. I don't. Honestly,
Kansas City got Tyler Bass. That's the end.
Yeah, I don't think they stand a chance.
I still need to see Lamar play a legit contender in a playoff game and win that game. It's nice that he beat Houston. It's a JV team. This man is everything in his career.
So let's talk about Lamar real quick. So I think that obviously he was the most important part of the game on Sunday.
No, he wasn't.
Or on Saturday.
No, the defense was.
Okay, so yes. However, let me say this. So Lamar was 16 for 22 for 152 and 2 passing. Right. So that's typical.
That's
Lamar.
tragic,
right?
That's pedestrian.
But he was 11 for 102 rushing, right? And so what does Kansas City have for that?
I'm just saying, was you gonna turn around and hand the ball to Dalvin Cook now? I mean, what the fuck? Of course, Lamar's gonna get all the rushing yards.
Who cares? Who cares? Who cares, dude? They have Mark Andrews is gonna be healthy and playing. And then you have Zay Flowers, who's been playing out of his
I have not heard that Mark Andrews is playing this week.
Dude, he practiced last week. He just didn't play, but he practiced. He wasn't even questionable. He was limited.
He didn't play because he wasn't ready yet.
He will be ready, is what I'm saying.
I like likely, but that's a whole nother conversation.
No, he will be ready. But anyway,
have like 10 DBs. I'm just telling they're gonna play quarters and say Figure out the
It's
zone,
not
bro.
that I
You're not
don't
running.
want
You're not
Lamar
running.
to win.
He's gonna run.
It's just that
avoid
after Patrick has won a game on the road, I'm just convinced that his mother and father made a deal with the devil in the womb. And until I see somebody knock Patrick off, I just
That's
can't
how
go
I feel.
against Patrick. I can't go against him.
Yeah.
Until I see him get knocked off, I can't go against him.
I feel
I
it's
don't think
Patrick, and then every other quarterback is like 10 rungs below Patrick.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't
it's not
think
even.
Patrick. I don't think Patrick won that game last week as much as It's not about a person, but about how the Bills lost it. From the quarterback to the defense to the
But
receivers.
did they really lose it? Like we focused on that kick. Like we're focusing on the kick and stuff, but it's 1,000 plays
the whole
in
fourth
between that game that they could have won that game.
The Chiefs took the lead in 27-24 in the fourth quarter, 1 minute into the fourth quarter. The Bills had the entire fourth quarter to score a field goal.
Agreed.
The Bills crumbled. Now, in that same breath, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by the impenetrable Patrick Mahomes, also scored 0 points in that entire fourth quarter. So what I'm saying is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs won that game on paper, yes. But I believe that this was really a case, and it's not about rigged, it's not about script, it's not about any of that bullshit. The Bills lost that game. From their players to their coaches to their scheme to Josh playing hero ball. He had Shakir open at the 15-yard line for a first down on a second down on a 3rd and 7, and tried to throw a tight ball into the end zone to Diggs, and it was incomplete. You get the first down. That's Josh playing hero ball. That's why the Bills
Does Tyler Bass kick even matter if McCole Hartman isn't ass? If he's not ass, and Pacheco gets 4 chances from the 1-yard line, they score anyway.
I think y'all are missing the point that if Buffalo hits that kick or if they score a touchdown, whatever they had done, they would have left too much time for Patrick.
But Patrick was still going to get the rock.
He still was going to get the rock and then win the game.
And it's Patrick.
So they would have lost it a different way.
Maybe.
I mean, they were going to lose that game.
But they hadn't done anything in the entire fourth quarter. I get it. I get it that Patrick is a rare beast who can just turn it on. I get that.
When he has to, he will. And that defense, they don't let people score in the second half.
Nope.
I mean, is their defense like that much work? I don't know the numbers, but better. I feel like they're both top 5. Did they both finish in the top 5 this year?
Chiefs.
I don't think so. I
don't think the Bills did, but the Chiefs did for sure.
Well, I mean, Chiefs Ravens as far as defense.
Ravens were 1. Chiefs were
probably 1. Chiefs had to be 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah,
they had to be 3 or 4. So we're splitting hairs at 2 top 5 defenses. That means the only deciding factor is: do you think Mahomes is better than Jackson?
Absolutely.
And so I don't know why we're leaning so much towards the Ravens with that. That's just an interesting point to me. I think it's going to be a good game, though.
No,
I think it's going to be a good game.
All right, so y'all are going Chiefs. So y'all are Chiefs.
I'm going Chiefs.
I'm not either.
Chiefs.
I'm actually going. I'm going Chiefs Lions. Actually.
What have you seen? What have you seen? What good team? What play? What confidence? How could you have more confidence in Lamar Jackson in a playoff game than Patrick Mahomes? I don't get that.
No, I'm not saying I have more confidence in the team than I do in the Chiefs.
You're looking at the regular season. I mean, this is a playoff game.
I'm not just looking at Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, right. Like the team was got a good defense too.
I mean, the defense
has a good defense.
Team.
How are they against the run?
Justin Tucker's better than Harrison Butker.
Oh, they were terrible against the run. I mean, Buffalo was gashing them in the run.
Chris Jones is better than any Ravens defensive lineman. Patrick Queen is equal. Is Nick Bolton playing?
I'll be right back.
Roquan Smith is more important than Patrick Queen.
I was saying I was balancing those two because Kansas City doesn't have a guy for Roquan. Yeah, they don't have a guy for Roquan. And then it goes to secondary.
The only position on the offensive side that I think Kansas City is better than Baltimore is running back. I like Pacheco over anybody over Gus Edwards. Absolutely. The wide receivers, I like Zay and I like Odell over MVS. I love Rashee Rice, but there's just one guy. And
you
honestly,
said just running back. You said so. You're saying Lamar Jackson? You like him better than Mahomes
in this game? Yes.
Woo!
Overall,
Wow.
I don't know. But in this
Wow.
game, where this game is and when it is and how he's playing right now.
Weather in Baltimore this week is what?
because he beat the Texans. I mean, he beat the Texans.
It's not about the Texans. It's like
what has he done in the play? I mean, I'm trying to figure out like how. What?
Well, first of all, he hasn't been in the playoffs in the last 2 years. He's been injured, so you've got that. Prior to that, he's 1-3 in the playoffs. So it's
what are we talking about?
Well, I give you Merle's argument because me and Merle talk every day and argue about some kind of sport.
That Lamar Jackson gets the check mark in the quarterback matchup.
No, I don't think that.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't know about that, Ian.
No,
but
I think the only offensive position is running back.
That's interesting.
I will even give the
take.
combination. No. I will
because what was it that we talked about the other day, Merle? You said if Lamar wins, he ascends. If Lamar loses, he basically becomes Peyton or Jared Goff or somebody like that.
He becomes
because what does that put his playoff record at? Like 2-4.
Before the Super Bowls.
Yeah, he'd be like 2-4 in the playoffs if they lose this weekend.
All right,
2005 Peyton Manning.
And y'all think that Kansas City is going to go into Baltimore and win the game?
Until I see different, yes.
Yeah, until I see it. Until I see Baltimore do it, I won't believe it.
Until I see Baltimore do it, I can't bet on that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, no, I get, and I understand that completely. So I'm not saying they won't win. I'm just saying, like, as far as a team goes this year, Baltimore's just been better.
As good as Baltimore is, your Texans with like 8 minutes to go still had a chance to win this game. Like they weren't completely out of. They needed a break.
They were though,
but they weren't. It ain't like they went to Baltimore and got 59 hung on them or nothing like that. I mean, they were in the game. CJ looked like a rookie a couple of times.
I mean, they weren't though.
But Dalton Schultz dropped a couple of balls.
Dude, after the first half ended, the Texans were not in that ball.
Wasn't it 10-10 at halftime?
10-10.
It was a tie game.
Yeah. That's suspect.
That's what I said.
20 minutes ago on the 20 minutes ago.
That's also the Raven. But that's also the Ravens not really playing in almost 3 weeks.
Josh, you're good, bro.
Yeah, we curse all the time, Josh. It's fine.
Who's
you're good, bro. I promise.
Fuck shit, pussy, dick,
you're
a
good.
Fuck shit, pussy, dick. Okay.
Now we just sound like we have to rest.
Listen, everything. I mean, all things said, I absolutely totally get. I absolutely understand why the commish and Jeff are taking the Chiefs in this game. I find zero fault in your logic. I just think the Ravens win this one. And on the other side, I know that San Francisco is going to beat Detroit. I know that if Detroit makes it to the Super Bowl, either the Chiefs or the Ravens steamroll them like the 49ers did the Broncos in Super Bowl 29, whatever that one was. But I hate San Francisco. So that's why.
All right, so look,
I really want to take Detroit all the way through.
With my heart and my money, I know San Francisco is going to win. But
all right, so look,
Detroit.
So let's talk about. We have 12 minutes left. We talked pre-show. Merrill has a hard stop at 8:30, and so do I. And Ian was good with that. So let's keep this moving. We have 12 minutes. We have a couple of matchups to talk about. So let's go on to this Packers-Niners game where Christian McCaffrey was Christian McCaffrey. He looked great in all aspects. Brock Purdy looked like Brock Purdy has this entire year.
He looked terrible until he didn't.
Which is serviceable.
I gotta go. So let me give my point and your guys' points. Purdy still looks like ass. I don't know why we keep talking about Purdy, Mahomes, Josh Allen. I don't know why we're putting him in that conversation. Do not be surprised if Purdy shows up like Mr. Irrelevant and the Lions win this game. Regardless whether the Chiefs happen to the Chiefs Ravens, don't be surprised.
I don't think so, bro.
If it's raining,
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I gotta go, you guys.
All right, man.
Peace out, it's at home. Right, Purdy's been great at home. If Debo plays,
when it's raining, he is very pedestrian.
If Debo plays,
Purdy looked terrible until Jordan Love said, "Let me drive that." Listen, that throw that Jordan Love made at the end of the game.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
it was throwing cross-body. That's where everybody was yelling, "It's scripted! It's scripted! It's rigged!" He had a 22-1 touchdown to interception turnover the last half of the year. Nobody makes that. That was a terrible decision by who is essentially a rookie quarterback. Essentially, he is a terrible call.
Playing time wise.
Play.
Well, 21 of 34 for $194. 21 of 34 for $194, 2-2. So Jordan Love did not have his best game for sure. Brock Purdy, 23 of 39, 245 and 1. He got sacked once, but Christian McCaffrey
7 interceptions.
But Christian McCaffrey 17 for 98 for 2. You know, he had 30 yards receiving on 7 catches. George Kittle 4 for 81 and 1. But it was really the defense that stepped up and won this game for San Francisco. So yeah, Jordan Love didn't make a good decision, but you got to make the pick. And Dre Greenlaw was there to do it. And Dre Greenlaw has been doing it all year. So let's not,
San Francisco is a good team.
Yeah.
They are
they've been doing it all year.
Brock Purdy, love him or hate him, he's 13-4 again this season. So as Bill Parcells told us all over again, you are what your record says you are. They're 13-4. They're hosting the championship game for a reason.
So let's pull up Josh's comment real quick, Meryl.
Green Bay lost that.
Which one? The
last one.
Everyone?
Yeah. So obviously you're a Lions fan, and you're from the same side of the tracks as Eminem because of the song. I see the 313 up there. So let's talk about that real quick. I mean, yes, you guys can run the ball for sure. For sure. You can run the ball.
Oh yeah.
Jahmyr Gibbs is still a rookie. As much praise as I was talking about earlier, he's still a rookie, and this is the brightest lights. And we'll see, because San Fran is not easy to run on. And because they do have Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw back there, and yes, as good as they are in pass protection, they're equally as good in run defense. So it's going to be interesting to see that, where I think David Montgomery maybe has more success up the middle than Jahmyr Gibbs does on the outsides, but we'll see. I still don't believe in Detroit. Yeah, I still don't believe in Detroit as far as winning this game. I just don't know if they have. But I don't know if they have enough.
But I wouldn't be.
I don't think anybody believes in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be a huge surprise. They are one of the last two for a reason, and it's not because they're a bad team. Like, they're there because they're good. They have.
They're definitely good,
and they will get better over time.
Yes,
they're not ready yet.
No, with Debo, this game is more of a landslide to me. With Debo, I think it's a 34-21. Without Debo, I think it's more of a 28-21. He's 50-50.
Not sure yet.
50-50 is questionable.
Yeah, I would say he's more 28-21 to 34-31. I think Debo makes the touchdown difference here, just because of what, like, even if he comes out as a decoy, you know what I mean? I mean, which he definitely can, but he's still going to get tapped up a bit. You know what I mean? But I still think he can come out as a decoy. All right, so we got 7 minutes left. Let's move on to the game of the week. And let's talk about this Bills-Chiefs game. Poor Tyler Bass and all of the Kansas City Chiefs fan making donations to his cat nonprofit that he supports, or cat rescue that he supports. And like, he's the Scott Norwood of the 2023 season. So it's poor guy, you know, he goes down in infamy with all of the Bills stories and the Florida State kickers and everybody that missed wide right, the Finkles of the world, you know, everybody.
Finkles of the world.
Right. So it's just like, poor guy. However, you can't obviously blame this whole thing on the kicker, right? Nope. So you have you have at least one drop touchdown by Stephon Diggs, at least. I know he had a couple more drop passes. So let me tell you guys some crazy.
They threw a bunch of check downs. They had no confidence in them. They were basically like, Josh, don't fuck this up.
So here's the
weird.
So
run the ball, don't fuck it up.
Shakir, over the last 6 games of the year,
Yeah, I saw this.
Had 47 targets, 47 targets. I think he had 34 receptions, and he had 426 yards receiving. Over that same time period, Stephon Diggs had 32 receptions,
on
80 targets.
Yeah.
81 targets and 420 yards. So he had less yards, twice as many targets than Shakir.
Wow. Less receptions.
Right? So is this now? Targets Josh Allen could be running out of bounds. But see, here's the thing. Josh Allen does a lot of running, right? So he could have ran out of the pocket, had nothing there, thrown it out of bounds, and Stephon Diggs been the closest receiver more than Shakir. And I get that, and that's fine. However, 40 is a huge difference in targets to catches.
Yeah,
right?
Diggs is not in Buffalo next year.
I don't.
There's no way.
How many years on his contract?
2, I think.
2 more left.
I think 2. So they're gonna trade him.
There is some beef. There is some beef.
He should go to Washington.
Trade him to the Cowboys.
He should go to Washington.
Play with his brother.
He should go to Washington and go to and be the opposite of Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, but they have to send it to a place that he's gonna want to go to, or because he's got.
Who's gonna be the quarterback in Dallas, though?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. So okay. Anyway, so this game was everything that it lived up to be. Patrick Mahomes has been in the league for 6 years. He's been to 6 AFC Championship games. This was his first road.
Well, the starter, because he had it 1 year.
Right, as a starter. Right. As a starter. This is his first year playing a road playoff game.
2 of them.
And he comes out on top like he has since he started playing after Alex Smith left.
Explosive, man.
Right. And they are explosive. So to me, guys, like, I'm going to compare him to Tom Brady. I'm going to compare him to Tom Brady only because he doesn't have wide receivers to throw to, right? Yeah. And Tom Brady didn't have wide receivers to throw to except for that 1 year where he lost for 1 year.
He's 28, man. He's 28.
No. I get it. But it's
unbelievable.
But his receivers are the Deion Branches of the world. You know what I mean?
If he doesn't get hurt, he's Jordan. He's Michael Jordan.
Well, he needs. Yeah, his brother's attitude's rubbing off on him a little, and I'm not usually one that really cares about cockiness of people. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like the cockiness of people, right? I love the arrogance of folks, and because if it's well deserved, it's well deserved, and it's well deserved. I think sometimes he goes a little above and beyond, but I think his brother kind of.
Brother's wild.
His brother's wild.
Jackson's
wild. Yeah, he's wild.
So, but Kansas City comes out on top because it's a wide right. 38-yard field goal,
and they have
shit
Jordan.
Like that?
And they got
right?
Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? So, Pacheco had a pretty good game. Kelsey had a really good game. Kelsey had a really good first half for sure. Yeah. And this is the first touchdown he's had since week 7. I think that's what they said.
Week 11. I think
week 11. So, I mean, it's just
8
unbelievable.
Weeks.
It's just unbelievable. So when these guys need to get it done, they get it done. And I understand what you're saying about this weekend's game.
I gotta see it. I gotta see it first.
In Baltimore,
there is a part of me, like, for the culture, that would love to see Lamar win the Super Bowl. There's never been, there have been quarterbacks who have ancestry connected to, stolen people from Africa. So Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Doug Williams. But there's not a quarterback that has like that has a hold on certain spaces in the culture like Lamar Jackson, like the way he carries himself, the tattoos. I mean, the do-rag. I mean, like, there's like something that would be really nice to see, because he's not a company man. You know what I'm saying? There's something about that
I love
that screams diversity and inclusion, and like people getting comfortable with the different type of quarterback, because that's the reason why Josh Allen has been promoted as like Pat Mahomes' foil, and his resume is nowhere close to Lamar. Right. I'm not a Lamar person, but I don't think he's particularly. I mean, he's okay. I mean, but that's why I got to see him win. I need to see him win this game. If he can win this game, I'll have no more criticism. But right now, I don't believe he reads defense as well.
Yeah. Merrill, what does it do?
That's been an issue
to Mahomes, Jordan-like-esque. If he loses this game, Is he still the Jordan of the NFL if he loses to
a
player
tough.
who you says is not really even in his echelon?
No, but hold on.
Yeah.
So Jordan's lost in the championship games before. He's never lost in the finals before.
He's never lost in the finals.
No, not in the finals.
Oh,
It's in the finals.
So Jordan has lost in the conference.
Yeah, he's lost in the conference finals to the Pistons many times. Bro.
Yeah, but when we're talking about Jordan, we're talking about never losing. So we know what we're
never
about.
Losing Super Bowl.
But
so you're talking about Patrick Mahomes makes it to the
losing,
Super Bowl.
You're playing
the
semantics.
other part about Jordan, but the thing where I give him a little bit, like Mahomes can lose a couple, is because I believe, and this is not popular, when I have this conversation about, I believe LeBron James is a better all-around player than Michael Jordan, and I'll always believe that. I feel Michael Jordan quit.
He did
twice
when he played baseball,
and him quitting twice is the equivalent of losing big games to me. So like when they say he's 6-0 in the finals, he ran from Hakeem, he ran from Shaq and Kobe. So I'm like, I maybe that's not the popular way to look at it, but
I get it. I understand.
He left when they were ascending. He was gone. So. He may have lost though. I think he would have lost to Houston once. I know damn sure he would have lost to Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah. I don't think Houston was as good as any of those teams. I mean, I get the Clyde and
Hakeem's different.
Hakeem. No. I understand that.
Hakeem is like a baby.
I would have loved to see.
Embiid.
I would have loved to see those teams face off against each other. I would have loved to see that.
I would have loved to see that. Okay, I mean that would have been so good because I have no idea how they would have gone because they would have Jordan and Hakeem would have canceled each other out. You know,
and it would have been up to Scotty and Vernon Maxwell.
Hakeem was just so dominant. Oh my god!
No, I get that. All right, so before, so it's 8:31. It's 8:31. So closing remarks about this past week of football or anything you guys want to say. Ian, go first.
This past week is the past hour and a half. The most exciting thing is the Harbaugh hiring. I think that sends waves. I think Atlanta and other teams are going to start hiring people very quickly right now. I think everybody wanted Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And things just kind of fall really, really quickly now. Yeah. I think Ben Johnson and Bobby Slowick are both hired within the next 72 hours.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
And Belichick is not hired in the next 72 hours.
Yeah,
well, I don't know about that.
2 interviews, like they called.
Yeah, no, he's going to Atlanta. He's going to Atlanta. It's fine. What you got, Commish?
My big thing is just like these were great matchups, man. Like this Final Four that we had was awesome.
That's what it should be.
Matchups were great. I mean, I think all the game. I mean, the Ravens game was just impressive with the defensively, but the rest of them were like really compelling games. That Chiefs Bills game, every time they play in the playoffs, it's a classic.
It's epic.
It really is.
Sure.
I don't necessarily feel bad for Josh Allen, but I kind of feel bad for Josh Allen. He's a very wealthy person, and he will eventually get his. He'll be like Drew Brees. He'll get one. Eventually.
He'll get his.
At some point, he'll get
in San Francisco in 2028.
But until he gets one, man, he's just he's 3.
Yeah,
it's Patrick, draw a line. Then Lamar and Burrow, and Burrow's a little shaky because of the injury stuff.
Yeah,
and then Josh is like right there, but Josh, he just has to win. It took a long time for Peyton. So
we'll see. Yeah, so we'll see. But I think he's they're very similar franchises. We can go into that on another show. So I guess my final words would be: I think we got the best Final Four. I think it's the right Final Four. For the way this year has panned out for sure. So guys, until next week, where we will talk about the AFC and NFC championship games and break down Super Bowl matchups, because we're going to have a lengthy 2 weeks between the NFC the championship games and the Super Bowl. So we will take the last couple weeks to kind of break down the season and what has happened, and we'll kind of figure it out. So until next Wednesday at 7:30, the Commish, Ian the Champ, Clintonian. We'll see you guys next week.